Hello Internet, I am the hero of Julios once again with another One Piece chapter summary. I just want to start off by saying, Nico Robin is fine, she's safe, she just had way more important things to do than be in the previous chapter. But, let us start talking about chapter 1053, The New Emperors. Oda's going on vacation for a month, and he decided to leave us with every single emotion possible in one chapter. So a lot happens, but let's start with the artwork first. It's celebrating One Piece Odyssey, the new video game that's going to be coming out. I don't use my Twitch channel very often, but I will definitely be trying to stream whenever I can that game, and then maybe I'll put highlights or I'll divvy up the footage and put it on the rest of the channel. So if anyone's interested in that, no idea what these two characters are. There's a guy and a girl here. The girl looks like your, usual attractive female character from insert movie or game here. The dude's probably going to be either a playable character or a helpful ally throughout the entire story. He looks kind of like Momonosuke, if I'm being honest, but I like him. He's got this cool thing going with the white hair. White hair seems to be a new fashion trend in the One Piece world, if Luffy is anything to look at. Speaking of Luffy, let's dive right into the chapter where the Gorosei are very angry about Luffy's new wanted poster. To the point where they're even, they're saying, like, get rid of the image, track down, all the newspapers, get it out of there, and take the D out of his name. Now, my curiousness is they haven't done that before with other Ds. Luffy is Monkey D. Luffy. They've known he was a D for a very long time. So why now are they so focused on making sure no one knows Luffy has a D in his name? My guess is it's similar to Sanji's wanted poster, where they weren't worried about a certain someone knowing who that is until something important became relevant. In Sanji's case, it was, Judge, saw the name Sanji, sent people after him, found out it was a fluke, and just sort of, let it be. When Sanji's wanted poster got updated, that's when Judge was like, no, that's definitely my son, somebody do something, make him alive only because I need him as a bargaining chip with Big Mom. In the case of Luffy, there's been plenty of people with the D clan. Some are even a part of the Marines. You got Monkey D. Garp, you got Jaguar D. Saul. So D's have been all over the place. Who's really upset about that? But this is a D who has the title Joy Boy now. Which means if somebody connects the picture of Luffy and that laughing form with his name, his middle initial, this might bring someone out of hiding, someone important, someone dangerous to the world government. So my guess is they're flailing their arms worried about this because they don't want somebody to know that Joy Boy is back. But strangely enough, the one person we all need to thank is Morgans, of all people, who despite hearing straight from the government themselves to stop the presses, he said, no, I am not spreading fake news, not when the news is this good. The truth is too good to pass up as a news story. So he's looking at the wanted poster. He even mentions himself, like, it's an interestingly otherworldly form this Luffy guy's got. But anyways, spread the papers, because the last thing they heard from the CP0 agent was, oh no, it's Big Mom's ship. So I'm going to guess there are no more CP0 agents in Wano. He probably sent the news to the newspaper, didn't even think about it, and saw Big Mom's ship approaching. They saw a world government agent, so they probably attacked, and that was probably the end of it. Oh, speaking of which, that guy who I've been calling Carl, Carl actually has a real name. It's Guernica? I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. I usually pronounce new characters' names wrong unless I've seen the name in some other anime before. But, yeah, that's Carl's real name is like Guernica or something, which is nice. It's nice to know at least one of the masked members had a real name. Unless, of course, they're talking about a different CP0 member. But I think it's the guy we saw in the last chapter who was like, "Don't worry, we'll definitely catch Nico Robin." Oh no, here comes Big Mom Ship. Though that was probably his last full sentence of his life. So keep in mind, Zunisha left. There are still Marine battleships outside of Wano. Probably a few got attacked by Big Mom's crew, but there's still probably a lot of them outside of Wano. Not to mention, Big Mom's ship is heading straight towards Wano, where Big Mom is probably waiting, because despite everything that's happened, Big Mom and Kaido probably aren't dead. I doubt, even if Big Mom died, I doubt magma would be enough to kill Kaido, otherwise he would have done that. Remember, suicide was a hobby for Kaido, so I'm sure he has tried everything he can and just hasn't died. I would put magma on that list of things I would try if I turned out to be an immortal being. But here's the kicker, the biggest part, the wanted posters themselves. Kid, Law, and Luffy all receive bounties of 3 billion. That's right, Luffy's bounty has doubled, Kid and Law's have shot up to match, and we now have 3 pirates with 3 billion bounty on their heads, which actually makes Luffy's bounty higher than Blackbeard's. Nifty. Now, upon sharing this news, Apu looks around and he goes, "Hey, wait, where did Kid go?" And his crew is like, "Well, knowing the captain, he's probably headed for the Flower Capital, because that's where Luffy's partying. We should probably go too. I heard there's going to be fireworks and popcorn and stuff." So Killer's leading the rest of the Kid pirates over to the Flower Capital. Even Law mentions, like, well, this is probably not going to end well. So Kid is off. He's probably looking for Luffy. And that is the last we hear for a little bit about their bounties and whatnot. We then cut to the inside of the Flower Capital, where the head chef, I'm guessing, of the Kozuki clan has prepared like 4-course dishes, the most like succulent fruits, and the most delicious fish they could catch. They have triple checked everything for poison to make sure nobody is going to get sick. And he's like, "Dinner is served!" And he shows off this beautiful display of hundreds of delicious plates of food together, and Jimbei is the only one in the feast hall at all, just chilling. The guy's just sort of sitting there, and Jimbei just goes, "Oh yeah, everybody left. This looks delicious though, so I'm gonna have dinner. I don't know about you, but yeah, no, Luffy got tired of waiting and kind of dragged everyone outside, so at least we have Jimbei. You know, I'm still super glad Jimbei is a part of the crew now, because he has become one of my favorite characters and is probably my 3rd favorite Straw Hat now. And he's only had a little time as an actual Straw Hat crew member. It's just he's had so many other things that has led up to him being a Straw Hat. Speaking of things leading up to being a Straw Hat, we still have no confirmation or denial of Yamato being a member, but we do have this cute little scene of Yamato, Luffy, and Chopper running through the festival. You got Chopper and Yamato, they got hearts in their eyes. Luffy's, laughing and smiling, and they're eating stuff. Chopper's, saying how great all the candy is, and Luffy's eating everything in front of him. And apparently this is Yamato's first festival, which makes a lot of sense. Probably didn't want to go to the fire festival as Kaido's son, and probably didn't really want to hang out with Dad at his party, so the fire festival is probably a sucky time for Yamato, if we're being honest. But it's kind of nice to see her interacting with the rest of the crew. I mean, yes, in this one panel it's Chopper and Luffy, who, Yamato's already interacted with Luffy. But this was the kind of stuff I was talking about. I wanted to see more chemistry, more interaction with the rest of the crew before actually becoming a member. So, maybe not in the next chapter, but if this keeps up, I might warm up to the idea of Yamato being a new Straw Hat member. Or at least a traveling companion like Kinemon was. But this next part is probably the most important part in this chapter. We finally have confirmation that Robin is safe, and that she is down in this castle basement of the Flower Capital's castle. she seems to be looking at this collection of dolls, to which Tenguyama, of all people, shows up and says, "Oh, are those interesting to you, Nico Robin?" She turns around and she goes, "How do you know my name?" He goes, "I have been waiting for you. You see, my real name is Kozuki Sukiyake. And I have been down in this basement for quite some time." So yeah, the Shogun of Wano didn't die. Sukiyake is alive, and he was trapped in the basement of the Flower Capital's castle for a very long time. Unfortunately, by the time he did manage to get out, Wano was already a wasteland ruled by Orochi. It was a tragic story of guilt and survivor's guilt, and he even debated committing seppuku to atone for his crimes. It was a horrible, deep emotional experience, and Robin just cuts him off. She's like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, sure, yeah, it was sad, right? We all got dead people. But I have a more important question for you. The poneglyph that Robin read all the way back in Alabasta told the location of Pluton. That was the whole reason Crocodile wanted Robin in the first place, was because she could read the poneglyphs, and the poneglyph in Alabasta was said to have the location of Pluton. That's the whole reason Crocodile wanted to take over Alabasta specifically, because the location revealed on that poneglyph is Wano. And Sukiyake even confirms this for her. She says, "Is the Pluton in Wano?" And he says yes. Which kind of harkens back to Kaido telling Yamato, "I want Wano not because it is a well-guarded fortress, not because it is the land of the samurai. I want Wano because of what's in Wano." The Pluton is in Wano, the most dangerous weapon in the world, the one where its only counter weapon is a set of blueprints that were burnt by Frankie. Whoever finds this weapon has one of the three ancient weapons that can only be countered by Poseidon, Princess Shirahoshi, who can't control it yet, and Uranus, which we still have absolutely no clue what that is, what it does, what it looks like, or even if it's a person. Because since Pluton is a ship and Poseidon is a person, then Uranus could be anything. So that's a pretty troubling confirmation to have, that the Pluton is in Wano right now. And I want to reiterate, even if Big Mom is dead, even if the lava somehow managed to kill her, Kaido is most certainly not. And that means Kaido is still free to wander around Wano and find it. Kaido's not going to have any help finding it, though, because, surprise upset, King and Queen have both been taken down. And I don't mean defeated by Sanji and Zoro. I mean roots stabbing through them and draining the life force out of them. Queen is even thin and, wrinkly, and King is crying out in pain because Green Bull is actually it's one of the most gruesome imagery that Oda has drawn. I mean, it's still by One Piece standards. It's not going to be anything like hard R, but the roots are just going through people, and you can see the blood trickling off them, and he is draining the life force out of them. Green Bull's devil fruit lets these roots come out of his fingertips. We know he can sprout a flower on his back. I don't think there's a limit to the kinds of plants he can create. We've had confirmation from Oda in the past that some devil fruits are just flat out better than others. We know that, Ace's devil fruit is not as good as a Kainu. We know the Snow fruit isn't as good as the Chili fruit. This may just be a superior version of Robin's flower fruit. Instead of being able to sprout his own limbs in places, he can just sprout any type of plant. I wonder if that would work against Usopp. Can he control plants, or can he only become plants? Until we know the real name of his fruit, I'm calling it the plant fruit, because that just is the one that makes sense to me. But if the plant fruit is as powerful as taking out both King and Queen, this guy's a one-man wrecking crew, and we may need Luffy to don Gear 5th one more time. So while Big Mom's ship is approaching, we got the world government surrounding Wano. We've got the Green Bull charging through with his giant vines of death. Uh, there's still a celebration in Wano. People are drinking. People are having a good time. Luffy's about to give the big, huge toast of victory, and here comes Kid charging towards him, ready to kill him. He's telling Luffy, if I take your head now, it'll make everything right because the news is just total BS right now. Luffy totally misunderstands him, grabs him by the neck, and just cheers. And I love the way Oda zooms out of it, that you can see, like, from the perspective of the people of Wano, you can't see Luffy and Kid's faces because of the fireworks behind them. So it looks like Kid and Luffy are both cheering together, when in reality, Kid is the most disgruntled he's ever been, because he shows Luffy who the new emperors are. The title of the chapter, The New Emperors. We have red-haired Shanks, which we all knew was already there. Same with Blackbeard. I was wrong. Luffy is not declared the next king of the pirates. Luffy is declared one of the 4 emperors. Which explains why Kid wants to take Luffy's head, because unfortunately, Kid did not get to be one of the new emperors. Neither did Law. I'm going to guess that when Shanks went to the elders, the 5 elders, and he told them, hey, I want to talk to you about a certain pirate, maybe Shanks was talking about Luffy, or maybe Shanks was putting in a word for an old friend. The 4th emperor is Buggy. I want to say that again for anyone who was cleaning out their ears to make sure they heard me right. The 4th Emperor of the Sea. We are talking as terrifying to the people of the world as red-haired Shanks and Beast Kaido, Buggy the Clown. Buggy is our 4th emperor. All hail Buggy-sama, the man with a crit 20 every time he rolls the die. Buggy, the invincible, the 4th emperor, the genius jester. I could go on about his greatness. Buggy is the 4th emperor. And just like I said, how this chapter makes you feel every emotion, this is the one where I laughed the most. I love that Buggy just keeps getting everything he wants and nothing he wants at the same time. Like, he just wants to be left alone. He wants all the, like, prestige and power that come with being a famous pirate, alongside none of the safety that he wants. Because, yeah, people are going to avoid Buggy because he's an emperor, but then there's going to be people like Kid and Law who want to take down emperors and are obviously stronger. So, I don't know. Buggy's just living his best and worst life simultaneously, and I'm just here for it. So, I'm interested to see how he became an emperor. Like I said, maybe it was Shanks talking to the 5 elders about him. Maybe they decided to just make him a figurehead where, like, there has to be 4 emperors, and Buggy was a member of Roger's crew, so why not just make him one, just to keep the fear? That being said, wouldn't it have just been easier to make Kid or Law one of the other 4 emperors? I'm not exactly sure why, but I really want to know why Buggy became an emperor of the sea, but we're not going to know that for at least a month because, well, no new chapters for a while. The chapter does end on Green Bull just outside the gates of Wano, looking up and seeing the fireworks, seeing the festivities, and thinking, boy, them pirates and those people of Wano sure do know how to party. It's a shame they all get to laugh and smile when the rest of the world is in such a mess. So, Green Bull is going to try and bring in Luffy. Now, granted, he did show a pretty impressive display of power when he took out King and Queen at the same time, but you gotta remember, King and Queen were also injured from fighting Zoro and Sanji. Luffy's got Kid, Luffy's got Law, Luffy's got Kinemon, Luffy's got Zoro and Sanji. Luffy's got his entire crew backing him up. So, unless Green Bull really wipes the floor with the Straw Hat crew, this is not gonna be like Kuma. Not again. Because Luffy had an entire week to recover. Luffy's got fresh gear 5th. All my players have taken their long rests. They got all their spell slots back. I don't think this Green Bull is going to be enough to take them down unless he does it stealthily. Unless he just kidnaps Luffy. Unless Kaido finds the Pluton. There's a lot of different directions this could go. I think Wano's not over. I think that we are entering a post-Wano arc where even crazier things are going to happen. I'm hoping to get a little exposition on what's been going on the outside world, because if it's as ominous as Green Bull is putting it, I would very much like to know why. But that's it for now. We got no new chapters for 4 whole weeks. I'm going to come up with some other stuff. The One Piece card game is starting to flourish. It's going to show up in Japan soon, so we're going to get full lists. I think the red and purple starter decks already have their full lists available, so that's probably going to be next week's video for me, is talking about all the starter decks. And then I'll talk about the booster pack. I might even order some straight from Japan just so I can get my hands on some early, just to have them in my hands, because I love the Digimon card game, don't get me wrong, but if the One Piece card game, which is made by the same company, is just as good as the Digimon card game, my wallet's going to hate me. But anyways, look forward to that kind of stuff. Look forward to the next chapter, because I know I will, and I will see you, as always, in the next video. This is the Hero of Julios, Xing out.